Hello, we are here for one more lesson of this T-Flex CAD training course, and the topic for today will be the extrusion. This operation is, I think I can say safely, the most important and the most popular operation across solid modeling systems. So it's a basic operation, and this operation in T-Flex supports two types of extrusion along an arbitrary vector and on the normal direction of the base contour. So there are a lot of options on this. I've created a couple of elements. These are profiles. These are the base for applying extrusions. So I will show you a couple of options on what we can do with these extrusions. So the first thing, I will create an extrusion. So command, it's basic. I need to define a profile, so I will define this profile. And the first thing to notice is that I can do this dynamically, so just grabbing or saying the length of the extrusion, it's under here, okay? When it's done, okay. I can do also, and this is a normal extrusion by the direction, the normal on the contour. I can do also an extrusion now. Instead of saying or mentioning what I want through these draggers, I can simply define the distance here, and I can define the direction. If I click here, it changes, okay? Then I can apply at the same time I'm doing the extrusion. I can apply a Boolean operation and saying addition, subtraction, intersection, or a smart mode. Okay, I would say addition, and what I do here will join to the previous solid. So, for example, 20, and now what happened is that I have one single body. So quite easy. I can do also other kind of things, which is, for example, let us apply to this contour here, extrusion. I can say, for example, 50, or even a little more, so 60. And I can say, instead of doing this only in one direction, I can define a couple of parameters in this first direction and in the second direction. So in here, if I say symmetric, then it will apply the value to both sides. Okay, so just do this and I'm okay. Then I can make the extrusions by different kinds of parameters. I will do again only, for example, a 60 top. And I can say, for example, when I do my extrusion, choosing a profile, I can invert, and I can say the direction, it's not this standard one, but I can define the direction. 1 point, for example, let us say 1 point in second point, okay? And it will be something like this, okay? I can define a direction. One other thing I can do is also create conditions. And for example, applying this, so extrusion here, invert the direction, and I have a lot of conditions in here. For example, several ones can be, if I say subtract, I can say through all, and it will cut everything, or through all by direction, for example, and I can invert it. So I have this kind of condition. Or I can say by value, okay, which allow me to specify one value. Or even to a surface. And if I say to a surface, I can say this surface here, no. So you see that happens that it makes an extrusion until that face. I can insert a little more intelligence on this. If I say extrusion, let me take this smart mode out, changing the direction, and for example to body, and in this particular case to body, it will recognize the body, and it will do this a little different, okay? So just say no. And again, showing in wireframe, okay, it put it to the other side. It was not my goal. Anyway, I have other options also, inverting, and then to the sheet with an offset. So I can say, for example, offset of 10, okay. No. Then it will make an offset to something that is chosen. Other things I can do, for example, let's create other conditions. For example, if I say in this particular case, let me make an extrusion out of this profile. Let's create a big one. No. Take the smart mode out. And I can do a couple of extrusions. This profile, and then I can say to a specific face or to the nearest face or to a point, for example to a point, okay, and you see that will do only to that point. Or for example, and this can be done adding or cutting, okay, and the same apply to the second direction, okay, so we can mix this concept. So for example, if I say to the nearest face, okay, then it will do this kind of choice. Or if I say to a body we've seen already, let us say for example to a face, and let us put this in subtraction. So yes, body, and do it. And at the same time I've done the partial cut in these two places. These are different things we can do with this command. We can do also other kind of things, which is and I will use better. I will delete this one, and we can use this profile. Okay, let us pick a bigger one. We can use these blend parameters, where we can say, for example, do a blend chamfer in one, and for example around on the second direction. Let us say for example 3, 3. I will take this out, and on top it created a fillet, and in the bottom we have a chamfer. So this is something that we can do also with this command. At the same time we create the extrusion. We can do also having other features. For example, if we say this profile, we can create it a little bigger, and we can create tappers, for example 10 degrees, and if we have this one here, we can create also a tapper, in this particular case 5, and we can do this kind of thing also, which is quite interesting. Finally, we have a couple of parameters regarding thin wall. We can create thin wall and apply thickness. So thickness outward, inward, whatever you want. So for example 5, okay, bottom up gap, whatever we want, and we can apply this kind of capability to your element. So these are a lot of possibilities. We have only with one command, which is extrusion. We have a couple of more examples in our theoretical side. So if you want to see a little more, check our course, and even after that, or if you don't consult the course, if you need any extra help, contact us and we will explain you your questions or regarding your needs. So we are here to help you on the learning stage of this command also.